Good morning, my fellow bicycle nerds. So we are actually getting ready. We're gonna go pre-ride Sunday's Love Valley course. So I am doing the Sunday race. So if you want to see the carnage that's gonna happen that day, make sure you hit like and subscribe. As a preface to this video, I'm very analytical, so I did this video more for me in general. I've got all this like crap just floating around in my brain where I've researched Love Valley for 3 days straight until I can't research anymore. So I figured I would just share it. I gotta put this information somewhere else, it drives me crazy. So let's get ready, let's get ride. So Love Valley is a small, authentic western town near Brushy Mountain, North Carolina. And when you first arrive at this place, if you don't know any history about Love Valley, it just looks like something straight out of an old western movie. And whenever I was growing up and I heard tales of this western town, and I just thought it was an old historical site that they wanted to preserve. I had no idea, the actual history about Love Valley, and I think the actual history's a lot more interesting, at least. So in reality, it was never an actual western town. Well, let me take that back. It was never an actual western town from like the 1850s. It is probably one of the only actual western towns in existence now. So it was founded in the late 1950s by Andy Barker and his dream of living in such a western town. And I just think that's super cool. So this guy, Andy, that was his childhood dream, was living in a western town, and saved up some money and he bought a piece of land, started working on his dream, and now Love Valley is an actual western town. It's not the ones that you see in TV where they go and they do reenactments. It is a literal western town. And I love the place. I think it is awesome. And then the Roubaix. So Love Valley Roubaix, it embodies everything that makes Love Valley so interesting. It actually started in 2012, and new for this year is it's got a Saturday event. I am actually going to be focusing on the Sunday event since that is what I'm racing. The course is around 50 miles. It is about 60% dirt roads. It's got almost 6,000 feet of elevation gain. And if you are not careful, the elevation will kill you on this course. Race Recon. So I break Love Valley Roubaix into 4 parts, but 3 that are very critical. So part 1 is the start and Fox Mountain. So you need to get very good positioning on the start or be prepared to burn a match. So the course screams down this paved hill, hard right-hand turn, straight onto gravel. And for most road races anyway, which this is somewhat of a gravel race, most road races, they start out pretty slow. Everyone clips in, you get settled in, you've got 50 miles to figure stuff out. So not Love Valley, at least when I did it anyway. So you need to make sure on the line you're at least at the front. If not, you are gonna have to, like I said, burn a match to get there before Fox Mountain. Get somewhere near the front. So there is going to be a somewhat of a long gravel stretch before Fox Mountain. You can sort of move up there, but everyone else is going to be doing the same thing you are. So it's better to be in the front from the get-go. When you hit Fox Mountain, people just fanned out 5 wide. So you're going to have to hit the ditch if you want to go around them, or just start yelling, "Please let me around," which is what I was having to do. But it is a race, so they have no obligation to let you around. So Fox Mountain is actually not that difficult of a climb. What makes it difficult is that it is so close to the start of the ride. So Fox Mountain isn't even that long. It does average about 6% or so. What makes it so hard is it is so close to the beginning of the ride that you have to get good positioning, or you're going to be scrambling to get up it with the lead group. So if you do make it over the top with the leaders, you will have time to recover before part 2. Part 1 is all about positioning. The course isn't that difficult in Part 1. It is just positioning can be somewhat of a mess. Part 2. Part 2 is the gravel ascent of Brushy Mountain. There's nothing extremely steep or grueling here, but the climb is long enough to split a decent sized group. So on Strava, the climb claims that it's around 11 kilometers, which is a pretty decent climb, and it averages around 3%, but there is some steep sections, and it is all on the gravel. So the year that I did it, the gravel was pretty chunky, meaning that you could not actually stand up while you were climbing some of this. You had to stay seated or your rear tire would, slip. Remember that you have a lot of recovery after this climb. So if you do have to burn some matches to stay with the lead group, it is worth it. You will have recovery after. So after the ascent, you have an awesome descent, but you really need to watch out for one hard right-hand turn. It will catch you off guard, catches me off guard every single time. Basically because the descent is such an easy descent, so you are hauling the entire time, and then all of a sudden you get a kink in the road, and I poop my pants every time. So you do descend to the bottom of Brushy on the pavement, and then you have a few rolling miles to recover before what is, in my opinion, the hardest part of the race and where most of the splits happen. So Balls Mill Road. Balls Mill ascent is all paved, but do not let that fool you. It destroys my ego every time. So when you hit Balls Mill, the average gradient doesn't do it justice. It's, I think, around 5%, but you have an actual pretty steep descent right in the center of it. It's about 7 kilometers long. Maybe it's just because it's towards the end of the race. This is kind of the final big climb that you have in the race that it kills me. I always forget until I do it how hard this climb is. When you hit it, it is going to give you a false sense of hope. You'll hit a really steep part right at the beginning. It's going to do a couple turns where it levels off and you think that it's over. You'll go back downhill. It is not over. So the only time you should gain hope that the climb is almost over is when you're getting to the top of the tree line. That's when you know you can start preparing for the downhill. So whenever I've talked to a few people that's actually been in the winning moves, this is where a lot of the major race-splitting set pieces will take place. And after Balls Mill, there only seems to be little pockets of racers sprinkled throughout the course. So if you make it to the top of Balls Mill with the lead group, you've done a phenomenal job, if there even is a group. The descent after is quite long, but there's nothing terrible. There was a couple spots wherever I pre-rode it that the gravel got pretty chunky, and it would creep up on you because the roads right now are phenomenal. There's not an actual ton of the thick gravel on them right now, so whenever it changes to that, it snuck up on me a couple times. And then part 4 is really nothing to talk about. It's the end of the race, so you have the descent from Brushy Mountain. You kind of go back up and over Fox Mountain again, which is not a terrible climb. Seriously, from the race, I remember getting to the top of Balls Mill, and then I don't remember anything but the finish line after that. From me talking to a few people, that's how everyone perceives it. So yeah, guys, that is about all that I have for you. Again, it's just mainly 3 parts. So this whole race is like one big interval workout. So you've got your part 1 is making sure that you have good positioning, obviously, at the beginning of Fox Mountain, or you've already lost. Then you've got the Brushy Mountain ascent on gravel, and then you've got Balls Mill. Those are the 3 big ones. After Balls Mill, in my opinion, you're either riding with 1 or 2 people or by yourself. I am extremely excited for this weekend. It's probably going to be the best weather Love Valley has ever had, so I'm not going to know what to do with myself, but I will see you all on the start line. Catch you guys later.